12 months since Paris. Where are we at?
Things I get from bad to worse every day.
It's getting better all the time.
Woo!
Things I get from bad to worse every day.
It's getting better all the time.
The Paris Climate Agreement laid down a broad, ambitious commitment for countries to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions.
While the Paris Climate Agreement is a great step forward, none of it is legally binding.
Do we go from here?
So far, of the 193 signatories, 114 have ratified their commitment. In late October of this year, the United Nations Environmental Panel released yet another alarming report. This most recent study points out that current pledges put forward by national governments to cut emissions would result in temperatures rising by 3 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, which is critically higher than the 2 degrees Celsius agreed upon in Paris as the uppermost tolerable limit for warming from a human safety perspective.
You're bringing me down, not making me strong.
A warm winter is cooking in the Arctic, with temperatures reaching 36 degrees Fahrenheit above the average for this time of year.
The election of Donald Trump, who has called climate change a hoax as the next US president, has cast a shadow over these talks, but it didn't stop the US delegation from trying to push forward in the hope that they can lock in any gains before a change of administration.
In Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has approved 2 major pipelines, the Kinder Morgan's $5 billion Trans Mountain Pipeline and the $7.5 billion Enbridge Line 3 pipeline.
Gotta make that change. We gotta all make the change.
If I thought this project was unsafe for the BC coast, I would reject it.
It's time to make this world a brighter place for the generations to come.
This is not the basis upon which to build a long-term energy system, and certainly not one that will allow us to meet both the goals of Paris and the Sustainable Development Goals.
Both pipelines face massive resistance from Canadian First Nations, who held a ceremony Tuesday in which more nations signed on to a treaty declaring they'll fight all new tar sands infrastructure.
The issue of climate aid and the willingness of rich countries to honour their promises when it comes to helping the poorest and most vulnerable was one area where little progress was made. Without these funds, most developing countries feel that once again their interests have been ignored. The meeting is over for another year, but now nations must go away and get on with the job of reducing their carbon emissions. Fiji will preside over next year's event in the German city of Bonn. There, with or without the support of the next US administration, the slow and complex negotiations will continue.
Now, the critical test will be whether 2017-2018 will be able to demonstrate a critical mass of countries starting to implement their national contributions.
We're talking about a planet with billions and billions of people here, and we need major, major change.
But I already recycle and compost and change my light bulbs.
I'm not laughing off people who bring their own grocery bags to the supermarket, but what I'm talking about is that we really need way more of a sense of urgency here.